You know that feeling when you hear a fantastic story, but when you try to retell it, it just falls flat? Well, today we are going to fix that. We're unlocking the secret to telling better stories by mastering something called reported speech. I mean, think about it, right? When you're chatting with your friends, you almost never repeat a conversation word for word. Instead, you report it. And doing that well, that's the secret sauce that separates a boring story from one that really grabs your attention. So, here's our game plan for the next few minutes. We'll start with the basics. What even is reported speech? Then we'll dive into the core rules, the real nuts and bolts. After that, we'll walk through an example together, step by step. Then we'll level up with some pro tips on choosing verbs. And finally, you'll be ready to go. Let's get into it. All right, so what's the big idea here? It all boils down to one simple difference: quoting someone's exact words versus reporting the meaning of what they said. Okay, check this out. This is the perfect side-by-side. On the left, we've got direct speech. Ram said, "I am very busy now." Straightforward, his exact words wrapped in quotes. But look at the right. That's indirect or reported speech. Ram said that he was very busy then. See what just happened? The whole perspective shifted. I became he. Am, which is present tense, jumped back into the past tense, was. And even the word now had to change to then. We're basically taking his original words and describing them from our point of view. So, to put it simply, reported speech is how we share the gist of a conversation. We ditch the quotation marks, and often we use the word that to connect everything. The focus is all on the message, not the exact delivery. Okay, now for the really practical part. We're going to build your grammar toolkit. There are 3 essential rules you need to know to make this switch from direct to reported speech feel totally natural. First up, rule number 1, the pronoun swap. This is a biggie. When you report what someone else said, the point of view changes from their I to your he or she. So the pronouns have to change too. This chart makes it super clear. It's totally logical, right? I becomes he or she because you're talking about that person now. Our idea becomes their idea. You're just adjusting the words to fit your new role as the storyteller. All right, next up is rule number 2, the tense shift. This one's super important. Usually when your reporting verb, like said or told, is in the past, the verb in the story also has to take one step back in time. For instance, if someone says, "I am happy," you report it as, "She said she was happy." A future plan, like "I will go," becomes, "He said he would go." Even ability shifts. "I can help" turns into, "She said she could help." It's a consistent, logical step back into the past. And our third and final tool for the kit: updating the words for time and place. Words like here or now are tied to a specific moment, so when we tell the story later, we've got to update them. This makes so much sense when you stop to think about it. If your friend said on Monday, "I'll call you tomorrow," and you're telling someone the story on Friday, you can't use tomorrow, right? It would be confusing. So tomorrow becomes the next day. Here becomes there, and now becomes then. It's all about keeping the meaning crystal clear from your new point in time. Okay, we've got our 3 core tools: pronouns, tenses, and time words. So let's see how they all work together. It's time to put our toolkit into action with a real-world example. So here's our sentence in direct speech. Notice it's a question, which adds a nice little twist. So how do we transform this into reported speech? We just follow our rules like a checklist. First, because it's a question, said doesn't quite fit. Let's change it to asked. Much better. Second, the pronoun swap. He's asking you, so when I report it, you becomes I. Third, the tense shift. Can becomes you got it, good. And finally, the time update. Tomorrow becomes the next day. See, it's a simple step-by-step process. And voila, there it is, the final, perfectly reported sentence. See how each little change works together to create a smooth, clear report that captures the exact meaning of the original question? All right, now it's time to add some real style. Just saying he said or she said works, but honestly, it's a little bland. The verb you choose to report with can pack a punch, adding emotion and a ton of extra meaning. Think of this as your palette of options. Was it a command? Don't just say they said it, say they ordered it, or maybe they even thundered it. Was it a really desperate request? Well, they probably pleaded or begged. Choosing the perfect verb is a game changer. It makes your storytelling so much more vivid and interesting. So, we've covered the what, the why, and the how. Now it's time to wrap this all up and get you ready to be a confident reporter of any conversation. If you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Mastering reported speech is not just about passing a grammar test. It's about becoming a better communicator, a more engaging storyteller. This is a genuine power tool you can use every single day. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. What's one conversation you've had recently that you can try to report on? Think about what someone said to you this morning. Try retelling it using these tools we've just talked about. I promise the more you practice, the more it all becomes second nature.
Prepared by K. Rajendra Prasad.